happy to announce that Max and I have officially made it to 22 months of nursing, but now our journey is coming to an end. So it's time for me to share with you guys all of my breastfeeding nursing tips. I've got tips for before baby comes, for after baby comes, and then even a few items that I just think are helpful to get you through it. Alright, so my first tip before baby is born is to find out how much paternal leave dad is going to have. He's going to be your number one supporter. He's just as important in all of this as you are, and make sure that dad knows your goals. Second is to look up breastfeeding videos on YouTube. It sounds kind of awkward, and honestly in the beginning it was a little awkward, but being able to watch how to latch, how to unlatch and relatch if it doesn't feel right, different positions for holding the baby, whatever you can watch to help it become more familiar to you. These days, we don't see our aunts and our cousins and our neighbors breastfeeding, so when it gets to our turn, we're kind of like, what the heck? I've never seen this. No one's ever shown me. It's something that's kept a lot more private and not out in the open these days. So unfortunately you have to go to strangers on YouTube to figure out how to do a lot of it. And then obviously for me, my mom nursed me for about 3 months, so I had a lot of help from her and my midwife. Then third, I personally did not read about everything that could go wrong because that just gave me a lot of anxiety and wasn't really helping. If you're someone who does like, to know everything, by all means, go ahead and dig in. But for me, I just had to push all that stuff aside and say, if I, come to that bridge, then I'll cross it. Then number 4, I don't recommend getting an epidural. I did not get one, and Max within 10 minutes was feeding just fine. I was a lot more alert. He was a lot more alert. Again, I've never not had an epidural, so this is just what I'm hearing from my midwife and my mother since they've seen both sides. And then, let's see, number 5, share your goals, or know what your goals are and share your goals with your husband. Do you want to nurse for 3 months, for 6 months, for a year? Ours was a year, and once we hit that 1 year mark and he started eating solids, obviously then they feed from you a lot less. You've been doing it for a year, so it's like second nature to you. You're not sore anymore, you're not as full anymore, and it's a lot easier to go over that 1 year mark. So if you make it to 1 year, it's peachy from there. And then let's see, number 6, research the benefits of breastfeeding and breast milk. Just knowing everything that it was doing for Max is honestly what kept me going, and it does a lot for you too in the beginning. So look into that and have those things in the forefront of your mind, so the days that it's getting hard, you remember why you're doing it in the first place. And the next is pray about it. This is something that I wanted to do, and I wanted to get right so badly that as soon as I was pregnant, I started praying about it, asking God to just guide me and call me in those moments when I know I was going to want to give up. If you're not really sure what to pray about or how to pray about it, I will have something next that you can screenshot, and you can pray that with your husband. So now let's move on to things for after the baby's born. After the baby's born, my list starts with the same thing, your husband. Again, he's your number one supporter in all of this. When you're breastfeeding at night, he obviously can't help with that, but he can at least go get the baby for you and bring the baby to bed. If he's bringing the baby to you during the day when you're on the couch, just positioning the baby in the right way for what side you're going to feed on. My husband was so good at that. Anytime he brought Max to me, it was always, what side? And I'm over here like, okay, I think this side. And then he would make sure he handed Max to me in that way, which was incredibly helpful. He filled my water constantly. We got to a point where my water bottle was never empty. He even made me a nursing cover out of fabric that I really liked. He did so, he is, I'm gonna get all emotional, but your husband is gonna be, he can make or break it, let's put it that way. And all the support that I got from my husband, even in public, there were times that I was shy and Max would be crying and I'm like, oh my gosh, I know I need to feed him, but if I start feeding him in public, people are going to be like, ooh, what is she doing? And Jaime would just be in the backpack getting out my nursing cover like, here you go, feed him. He put it right on me, and that just meant the world to me. Next is going to be feeding on demand. I wasn't always as good at this. But my mom was always on me about every time Max cried, like, go ahead and feed him, go ahead, it's fine. And I'm like, no, he doesn't need it, he can't be hungry. And my mom would be like, oh, he just wants to cuddle with you, and, you know, the milk is warm, it's sweet. And I'm really glad that she did that and was so annoying, because I think that really benefited our breastfeeding relationship. So I recommend feeding on demand, no clocks, no crazy, this side for this many minutes, this side for that many minutes, blah, blah, blah. I even bought tabs that I could, like, put on my bra so I could remember which side I fed on last. And let me tell you, girlfriend, you can feel what side you need to feed on the next time. So I wouldn't even worry about that. And then just don't overthink things. That's a really simple one, but with all the timing, and there's like apps out there for helping you timing breastfeeding and things like that, just do what feels right, because those apps aren't going to be the same for you and your neighbor and your coworker. Every baby's different, every mom is different. Try different feeding positions. I'm going to put a few photos at the end to show you guys different positions, and you can always Google them, and then different, well, not different ways to latch, but how to latch in general. So I'll post a few different things at the end, just videos from like Google and stuff for you guys to look at, not of me. And then you're going to want to have a book on hand. I know a lot of people say, oh, find a Netflix show to watch and blah, 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 blah. But honestly, take this time to read. If there's something, if you want to read for pleasure, there's a book you've been wanting to read for a while, I really suggest getting a book, which kind of leads me into my helpful items. If you're not really sure what book you would read, I have a few suggestions here. This book, I'm sorry I don't have the cover, but it's called Redeeming Love, and it's by Francine Rivers, and of course, it's a love story. And then if you want something a little more biblical, we've got A Lineage of Grace, also by Francine Rivers. Obviously, I like her. And then if you want something nonfiction, Dissolving Illusions is going to go into talking about diseases, vaccines, and just the history of all that. This is the one that I specifically read during that time. We delayed Max's vaccinations until I got through the book, and very thankful I did that. So, and then moving on to our other helpful items. Having a boppy pillow. These just go around your waist like this, and then you lay the baby. Max, can you come here? Can you come to mama? He's busy. He's like, I'm watching Lion King, mama. I don't have time for you. Oh, okay. You saw the pillow, so now you're like, yeah, I'll do it. And you just lay him like this. Little arm back there. And then it helps support the baby, and it's easier to hold them. Huh? You got smoothie on your face. We love smoothies. We love smoothies. And then I love the boppy pillow because you can do a few different things with it. I think it shows on one of the tags. Oh gosh, this is probably not going to show up on here, but that they're useful for a few other things. And then a very dear, smart friend of mine got me this caddy that was filled with all kinds of treats when she gave it to me, one being wine. And I loved it because I kept diapers in here all the time, a pack of wipes. I had a breastfeeding necklace, which is also a teething necklace. So obviously you wear it while you're feeding them, and then basically they hold it and they pull it all around and whack it. Because if you don't have something like this, they're going to be pulling at your other side, they're going to be pulling your hair, they're going to be scratching you. So if you got something like this, it's something for them to fiddle with their other hand. Mine I got on Etsy. Oh, and then I really like this one because it's just a nice natural wood one. So Max was actually able to chew on it as well. So you can wear it out. I think it's super cute, little hippie style. And he could chew on that. An extra outfit, something I kept in there. You guys know I always talk about water bottles. Always one with a straw. And then one of my feeding covers, just in case anybody came over. We had neighborhood kids in and out constantly, which after a while I don't think any of us cared at that point. And then nursing pads, always kept a lot of extras of those in there. A little washcloth, your little, like, basically toiletry bag for your baby that has your fingernail clippers and your thermometer and all that. And then we've got diaper rash cream, which I honestly didn't use. My mother-in-law made a comment about it at one point, me not using it. So then I started, and then he got a rash. So I was like, okay, well, that doesn't make sense. So we're not doing that again. So we didn't really use that. And then this is one of the things she had in here too, is hand sanitizer, which now I've moved this to my backpack. And then chapstick. I use so much chapstick. I always have to have it right next to me. Then I don't have any left, but you could put nipple cream in here, coconut oil, whatever it is that you're going to use. I just love this thing because I would have it on the end table next to me during the day, and then when I went to bed, I would just bring it with me and set it on my nightstand, so I always had this stuff with me. Oh, and then I've got a book, of course. A little book from Max. We love books around here. I'm going to stuff all this stuff back in here. So if you can find something like this, I'm not really sure where you would find one, but maybe I can look it up and put a link below or something like that. Alright, I'm going to check my list just to make sure I didn't forget anything here. Oh, and then a robe. Yes, robes are life. Okay, I have 3 robes. No, I have 4 robes, and they're all like different lengths, different material. Those are the best for if you're breastfeeding and after you have a baby, because one, who even wants to wear pants in general? Yep, I raise you your yoga pants, and I say no pants. I love robes. It's easy access to whatever you need. Like, yeah, get a robe. I really suggest getting a robe. A longer one that's like fluffy and comfortable, and then you can get more of like a cutesy one that's going to make you feel, you know, cute walking around the house. Yeah. I'm definitely down for robes, as you could probably see in some of my other videos. Well, I'm going to put some photos up for you guys to look at that'll hopefully help with latching and positioning and things like that. I hope this was helpful, and if you have any questions that I didn't answer, please feel free to ask. I'm just hoping that next time somebody asks me for some tips, I can just forward them this video and it'll be easier for me. Woo! All right. Bye, guys. Thanks for listening.